Angelino through and through, Ed Reyes has served Los Angeles for nearly a decade as a member of the city council. Throughout the term, Reyes has engaged public involvement in city meetings and been a leader in public safety and gang prevention programs. And Councilman Ed Reyes joins us live now here in the studio on The Filter. Ed, thanks for coming down. How are you?
My pleasure, Fred. Thank you for having me.
Really appreciate it. Okay, let's just start off the top. You were one of the people that authored the resolution to boycott Arizona.
Absolutely.
You've taken heat for that.
Absolutely.
All right. If I give you a mulligan, would you play the same shot?
Well, look, what's really important to me is that we need to understand our discretion. As an Angelino, as a person who is of Mexican-American background, I need to be able to say, what are we doing as Americans?
Okay.
And to me, that's important. That's important to be able to raise this voice. If you look in the history of our great country, the darkest pages of our history has been because we stick our head in the sand, we close our eyes, we plug our ears, and we don't want to get involved. But if you look at the civil rights movement, you have folks from all over the country going to a certain part of our country talking about civil rights and human rights. And today it's different because of technology, our discretion, our ability to look at how we use our resources. We should be in a position to say what is ailing our country, but more important, how it affects our cities.
All right, well, let me follow up two ways. First of all, the law in Arizona basically is the law. They just said they're going to enforce it. If that's the issue, why are we concerned?
The issue is that there's a very gray area in the clause. When you look at the verbiage of that law, and I've read it, it literally gives so much discretion, so much subjectivity to anyone with authority, a badge, even another citizen, to point to another individual and say, this person's undocumented. And that person can be targeted for arrest, they could be deported, it can go down that road, just by the way they look. Now that discretion is not something that I believe anyone should have in this country. On top of that, if we are a country, one country, we have federal laws that we have essentially governing all of the states. So from my point of view, we should be pushing Congress and our president to come up with a national immigration policy.
But isn't the federal law you're referring to basically the law they're going to institute in Arizona?
No. The difference is what they are allowing the individuals who have authority and or private citizens to identify someone else. If they are suspect of being undocumented, then they're targeted. And then they go through the whole process of being deported. There is that subjectivity within that law. And that's where you essentially invoke racial profiling. That's where an American like myself would have to be concerned if I walk through Arizona or I am going through Arizona, that I would be then subjected to that kind of treatment. I have friends, my wife's dear friend from school, from work, literally went to Arizona. She was on the bus. Someone got on the bus, an officer, and was carding everybody to see if they had their citizenship, if they had an ID. And she was very, very frightened. It was to the point when she was talking to me, she was whispering to me on the phone. I was thinking, well, why are you whispering? It's like if, someone might be listening. I mean, there's that kind of environment in America today that is just unconscionable.
All right, so you decided what we're going to do is we're going to basically institute an economic boycott of Arizona. All right, that being said, though, two instances have come up, and you didn't boycott, you didn't pull out, so what are you boycotting?
Well, let's be clear, Fred. When we did this resolution, we did a resolution where we wanted to be methodical in how we're using our discretion and looking at our resources and how we're going to move monies into the different entities that exist that have an economic relationship with us. Mm-hmm. So with Arizona, we said we're not going to be sending our tax dollars into Arizona. And so the actions we've done and basically have been able to carry out have been, one, on the public safety issue. It was a very clear public safety priority for us. We did not want to in any way endanger Los Angeles, Angelinos, or the city in any way. So we went ahead and allowed for that process to continue. Today, we find out that the contract that was in front of us, there was no money going to Arizona. We stayed within the intent and the spirit of our resolution. It wasn't just a symbolic gesture. It's very real. So we were very consistent with our actions. So it was proven. No money's going to Arizona. The headquarters is in Illinois. So everything was consistent with our intent.
Yeah, you lucked out on that one. Oh. You lucked out on that one.
Well, yeah. Well, put it this way. this is very complicated. This is a case-by-case
I understand,
issue.
but
if we don't stand up and fight for this, then aren't we neglecting our obligation as Americans to defend other Americans?
Well, I understand that, but you heard David Reyes and Charlotte Laws who were on with us, and I think many people ask this question. I mean, we're involved in Arizona's business. We're going to make a stand here. But don't we have enough problems here to worry about?
It is not Arizona's. It's our business because it's our money. We're deciding how we're going to use our money, how we're going to leverage our money, and how we're going to connect with other cities and states with our money. Now, you talk about what are we doing here? I can sleep very comfortable tonight knowing that in my district we converted old abandoned rail yards into 8 acres of park. There's 4 new libraries, there's 2 new police stations. I've got 3 high schools that have been built and 1 in construction now. So I cannot help if some folks aren't informed as to what we are doing as council members. I mean, each district is up to about 250, 300,000 people. We're dealing with between 13 and 54 square miles per district. This is a city of many cities, almost 4 million. So I appreciate the discourse. I understand their position. But when I listen to them and I look at them, I don't think they have friends or family who are living in fear because of the way they look. So that is part of the engagement that we need to now have. And let folks know what this means to a human being, your human rights and civil rights as an American. Why are we allowing this to happen? So where's our conscience? I mean, are we so worried about our own little locality that we don't understand that LA is the second largest city in the country?
Right.
It has a relationship with the South Pacific region. We are part of the international global economy. What we do, what we say has a real impact. This is not, 1960s, 50s. This is 2010. People have to realize our ability to influence new environments and create relationships that have a domino effect in the economic development realm. Why are we shooing away folks from other countries because they look different, or why are we penalizing because of the way they sound? This is terrible. I mean, this is the wrong direction for our future.
Councilman, I had so much to talk to you about, and I have to tell you, this is one of the quickest segments we have ever had. We're out of time. I will only ask, because there's much more to cover,
Absolutely.
that you will come back another time.
I'd be more than happy to.
Councilman, thanks for coming down.
Thank you, Fred.
Councilman Ed Reyes joining us tonight.